Hyderabad's startup scene isn't just rising, it's scaling fast, attracting big capital, strategic partnerships, and creating powerful network effects. I'm Neha Vashisht Mahajan from economictimes.com, and today we catch up with Sandeep Maheshwari from 361 to understand where 361 sees the next big opportunities emerging and how smart capital is powering Hyderabad's growth story. Welcome to ET Sandeep. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Neha, for having me here.
Let's start with what strategic opportunities do you see specifically when we talk about Hyderabad's startup ecosystem, and how does it align with 361's investment philosophy for scaling businesses?
Got it. Sure. Thanks, Neha. I think just being one of the largest alternate asset managers in the country today, managing close to about 3.6 billion only from a private equity standpoint, we are really uniquely placed to partner companies across seed to IPO in the entire journey as we invest from venture capital, growth, PE,
Hmm.
late stage secondaries, as well as we invest in funds and thereby provide secondary capital to them as well. I think from a Hyderabad perspective, we've been really amazed to see the evolving ecosystem that's being created, the kind of founders, the kind of in-depth talent pool which is there, and have seen multiple opportunities across this entire segment from venture to late stage, I would say. We see
Hmm.
a lot of founders building solid moated businesses. In fact, a lot of times building all of this in stealth with very strong economics. And in fact, we've already invested in three such companies and are evaluating quite a few from our next investments perspective.
All right. Sandeep, when we talk about expertise, with your expertise in fund of funds or FOFs as we know them and secondaries, how do you see the secondary market potential in Hyderabad? And what signs show that its growth stage companies are ready for the kind of advanced capital structures 361 offers?
Sure. I think fundamentally, if you see from a Hyderabad perspective, it has always had
Mm,
progressive policies at the state level. Deep
mm,
talent pool, as I already said, which has created this ecosystem, right? As I said, we're already seeing a lot of opportunities, and thereby we see a lot more opportunities in the emerging systems, emerging ecosystems like or emerging sectors like defense and space,
mm.
where in fact we have also increased our focus. I think fundamentally we see a lot of IP-led businesses here, which would require growth capital, and some of the manufacturing setups, which again require a lot of growth to late stage or advanced capital structures in that sense. And we are happy to provide across the spectrum, right? From a secondaries perspective in specific, I think there's hardly any options in the country today, and
Mm.
which is where we step in as well and help founders to really clean up or refresh their cap table before they go for IPO. And a lot of companies in Hyderabad today who are maturing are looking for
Mm.
this because things don't exactly go as per typical plans, right? And sometimes you need those extra few years before you can hit the IPO or go into your late stage journey. And that's where we step in and help all these companies.
All right. So, talking a little bit more about stage startups, for growth and later stage startups in Hyderabad, how does 361's multi-stage approach provide distinct advantages during their scaling journey, particularly when these companies need more than just equity capital to achieve their next growth milestones?
Of course, and that's the part we play well, right? Given we can support companies from early stage to IPO, I think
Mm,
this entire journey we would not only provide capital but much more strategic advisory which a founder would need. For example, we have deep understanding of Indian capital markets today
mm,
and can really help enable these companies launch successful IPOs and actually prepare themselves in that path. Today, we have more than about, I would say, 85 odd companies, which are actually our investee companies, and more than 24 unicorns within them. And we can build the right connects to the right set of founders
mm.
with these companies, with these earlier founders who've gone through the same journey, right? As fundamentally, we always like to be founder friendly and always want to help founders in terms of achieving their strategic objective. Of course, they know their business much better than what we do. But
Absolutely.
just these connects sort of are very important things that help. Again, from a wealth perspective, today we are one of the
Mm,
largest wealth management company in the country. and have connects with more than 7,500 founders. Again, the kind of capability or the kind of connects, these are really precious from a founder who is growing his company and would like these strategic inputs at times to help evolve them to the next set of journey. That's I think the importance of network, the ability to guide these companies in various phases and help them connect with the right set of founders who have gone through the journey is where we step in a very very meaningful way.
All right. So before we close our conversation, one very important thing I want to talk about is about the network effect. So through 361's fund of funds strategy, you have unique visibility into multiple venture funds and their
Yes.
portfolio companies as well. So how does this broader ecosystem perspective help you identify and support the growth and later stage startups in Hyderabad? And what partnerships are you building to strengthen this network effect?
Of course. Thank you. I think fundamentally today, when we are investing, we started this business back in 2016 when we also invest in some of the funds. Today, we have more than 15 funds or 15 GPs that we have backed across equity and credit. And in
Mm,
fact, we have, if I were to see on a see-through basis, we would have exposures to more than 200 odd companies just from this platform perspective. So what it does from an ecosystem perspective, first and foremost, we are helping the ecosystem develop as all of these different funds have different set of expertise, from which we also learn in a meaningful way as they sort of go in their fund deployment journey. The second big thing is that we also co-invest along with these funds in some of their breakout companies. Also gives us good potential to observe these companies over a long period of time and
mm,
therefore also sharpen our understanding from each of the sector perspective, right? Because each of these underlying companies gives us tremendous amount of understanding as the how the entire sector is coming about. And all of this sort of gels in very well from an ecosystem perspective. One, to build the ecosystem, provide them the capital needed. Second, to increase our understanding, and also back the right set of companies to provide those founders the necessary capital that they need in terms of going to the next level. In fact, some of these companies
mm.
have been a great outcome where we have done subsequent investing have become a great outcome from our fund perspective as well.
All right. So any closing remarks for the late stage startups out there, any startups out there that you would like to connect with?
Well, I think fundamentally would like to just bring about the fact that we would love to support founders in their journey,
Mm,
and that's the approach we've always taken through investing. We are today one of the largest from a perspective of size that we are deploying assets from, and we've always been active, ready to help, even in terms of in terms when the market goes bad or something. We are really there to look after our founders as well. And that ability in itself gives us a huge benefit. And if there's anybody who would be wanting to raise capital across the stages,
mm.
we sort of just a shout away.
All right. Thank you so much, Sandeep, for joining us today and for your great insights. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
Thank you so much, Neha. Thanks a lot for this.
Thank you.